So when I say updating the state of the block, so that means like setting it so it says that, oh yeah, the furnace is active now. We want you to look like this. So we're going to go public void. No, public static void, sorry, I was right. It's got to be static because it's going to be one instance of this. Update, I don't know, block state we'll call it. And inside of here we're going to have, obviously, something that says it's burning. We're going to have, obviously, and we're also going to need the metastat stuff, so which will be world, integer x, integer y, integer z. Okay, and what we're going to do in here, we're actually going to have to check the direction. So basically this is actually going to make sure that once the block has been changed, it's still going to face in that same direction. Okay, so to do this, we will create an integer which will be the direction, which we will set to world dot get block metadata. So we're not going to be setting it, we're going to be get the block metadata, and this will be x, y, and z. And then the next thing we want to do, we want to create a tile entity variable, which will be equal to also the same thing. So it'll be world dot get tile entity instead though. Get tile entity x, y, and z. So this is going to make sure that this is the same tile entity in the block, and it's not just going to call upon any of the other blocks. Okay, and obviously we're going to set is burning equal to true in this case. And we're going to go if burning, so this is going to check if it's true. Then we want you to set the world dot set block equal to x, y, and z, and then it's going to ask the actual blocks, which will be tm block dot tut furnace active. Okay. Else we want you just to set the block to. So this is going to check once it's been placed as well. We want you to just set tut furnace, which would be the inactive one. Okay. So once we've done that, we want to say, obviously once we've finished with that little bit there, we want to say is burning. Oh, so that's equal to false. This has to be after this, else we'll have issues with the way the code's been read, because it'll just keep looping back and forth because it's going to set it to true and it'll set it to false, and this if statement will never be true. Okay. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go world dot set block metadata with notify x, y, z, direction will do, direction, and then the last one is just going to be 2. So if you see here, it's mentioned the last one, and that's the flag, so that's why we have to do it as 2. Okay, so and then we're also going to check if the tile entity has been is actually valid inside of this block. So what we need to do, we'll need to go if tile entity is not equal to anything, so we've not actually set the tile entity to the block yet. What we want you to do is we want to go, oh, there's a fly in the room, I get lost. We want to go tile entity dot validate. Did we set the tile entity? Oh, I've done it in the wrong bit here. Huh. We were meant to do it inside of here. Okay, let me just fix that now. If tile entity dot sorry, is equal to nothing, is not equal to anything, then we want you to tile entity dot. Damn it, come on, why won't you work? tilency dot validate. So we want to validate this tilency because it's equal to something according to this here. That's why it's checking. And then we want you to world dot set tilency x, y, z, and then the tilency. So that'll be the tilency that is validated. Like so. Okay, so the next bit is once the block has been broken. Okay? And what we're going to do inside of here, this is also going to involve a little bit of basically the way the contents is spelled. Okay. So if we actually go into here, okay, so this is basically, we'll have to involve MBBT tags inside of here. And I'm also going to call upon the talent top furnace. And I'll be right back because I really need the loot. Sorry about that, it's getting late and I've got like a really banging headache and I really need the loot. Sorry for having to share out with you. Probably didn't need to share with you. Okay, but now, like I was saying, we need to do the block break. Which basically says spill everything out, its contents out onto the floor. So we're going to go public void break block. So I have a few parameters. It's going to have the metadata stuff, so world, comma, integer x, comma, integer y, and integer z, comma, block, and then the meta. Okay. So we need to check. We need to see if this is not burning. Then we want to have create a variable tile entity tut furnace tile entity furnace tut furnace, and then we'll set this equal to world dot get tile entity x, y, and z. Okay, and obviously we need to cast this to our actual tile entity, which is tile entity tut furnace, which isn't quite finished yet. Okay, so once we've done that, we're also going to check if the tile entity furnace is actually equal to anything. Okay, so if tile entity tut furnace is not equal to anything, is not equal to null, so it's actually already been assigned to something, which such as in this world.get tile entity, then we want you to continue with this code. And inside of here, what we're going to do is we're actually going to find whatever the whatever's inside that inventory. Okay, so we're going to go for integer I is equal to 0. I, as long as I is less than tile entity tut furnace, then we want to go plus I, and then we're going to go to create a variable called item stack, which is equal to tile entity tut furnace dot, and then this will be a variable which we create later, which will be get what we call it, get stack and slot. So that's basically sees what's ever inside those slots. Okay. So obviously that has not been created yet, and that'll just be I. Don't know why I'm just very surprised that's not erroring at the moment. It should be. I don't know why it's not freaking out on me, but oh well, I'm not going to complain. Also we need to set this here, not to just that, we also need to set it to get inventory size, and I'll explain what this does later, obviously once we create the tile entity. Okay, so we need to check if the item stack is equal to anything, so if item stack is not equal to null, so it's already been assigned to something, then we want to continue with this, and I'm just going to create some floats, which will just basically spill everything out onto the floor. So f, which will be equal to this dot random, which is what we created before, remember, up here. So we set to this dot random dot next float times, I don't know, 0.6f and plus 0.1f. So it'll give it a sort of give it some sort of like momentum when it goes. So, or velocity as Minecraft calls it. So we'll create two more. So f1 and 2. Just keep sake of keeping things different, and yeah, and so we don't actually change the variable all the time. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna take while item stack dot stack size is greater than 0. This is basically saying as long as you've got something inside of your inventory, then we're gonna run through this code, and we'll just create an integer, and we'll call it, I don't know, we'll call it, I don't know, J1, which is basically just another thing inside of Java which allows us to create. In fact, we'll call it just J. J is basically like, you know what, we have I, we also have J. This is basically just some sort of, I don't know, per se, what you want to call it, convention that programmers use when they don't have a name for anything. And I don't have a name for this. Okay, so we go this dot random dot next int. We'll generate numbers between 0 and 21 plus 10. And the reason we're going to use this is to say where we want you to drop. Okay. So we're going to go if j is greater than the item stack dot stack size, then we want to set j equals whatever the stack size is. So this basically just makes sure everything is inside of the stack when the contents is spilled out onto the floor. So basically, this basically eliminates lag in the game, okay? Else it'll forget everything that's inside that stack, and it'll say we had like dropped like, I don't know, 22 diamonds on the floor. That will just turn into 1 diamond, and it wouldn't be grouped. It would just be the 1 diamond rather than it being the 22 diamonds that are originally in there. Okay. Also, what we need to do, we need to set item stack. Once it's run through that if statement, item stack dot stack size needs to be minus equaling to the j. It needs to be minus equal to whatever j is equal to, which is something in between 21 plus 10. Okay. So also we're going to create a variable called entity item. So it's going to be it's going to be an entity item variable, and we'll just call it entity. Item, we'll just call it entity item because we're very, very original. So we're going to go new entity item, and it's going to ask for a few parameters. So we'll go to world. We're going to exchange a float into a double. So we're going to cast a float into a double, which is going to be extremely weird, I know. That's why we've been blessed by maths with brackets. So we're going to x plus f, which is what we did before, which is add momentum. Okay, and then we're going to go and do this for y. So it's going to be double. Something that's cast to a float, which will be y plus f1, comma, something that's cast to a double again, and then obviously as a float, and then z plus f2, like so. And that is this. That basically just gives everything. Sorry, that's not it. This is basically just saying which way we want you to spill out onto the floor and what sort of velocity and momentum. Then we need to go to j, so that actually says how much to drop out. No, it doesn't need to do the item stack. Sorry, I'll just put j there because that's the first parameter in the item stack. So new item stack. into item stack dot get item, comma j, comma item stack dot get item damage. This is just in case the item has a certain amount of durability, else people will be able to glitch it, and say if they placed, like, I don't know, a pickaxe in there, it will drop a brand new pickaxe with full durability, which will not be good if they have like something like a diamond pickaxe. Okay. Now, we actually need to retrieve what's inside of that block, and the way we do this is with tag compounds. Okay. So what we need to do is we need to go if item stack dot it has a tag item stack dot has tag compound, which is a boolean. So if this is true, then we're going to go NC item dot get NC item dot set tag compound to an MBT tag compound BBT tag compound, and then we need to go item stack dot get tag compound dot copy. So that'll basically just retrieve everything that's inside there and set it as it's that tag compound, if that makes sense. Doesn't seem to like that. Have I spelled it wrong? MB. I put 2 B's, it's just 1 B. And why is set tag compound not working? Because everything inside of that has not been cast. There we are. So we've imported that and now it is fine, and we need to add another bracket onto the end of this, else it doesn't like it. Okay. Why is it erroring at the moment? Oh, it's just this line here. Okay. And, okay, underneath that tag compound ring, we need to go and set, we'll create another float and call this F3. This is another thing for velocity, and we'll just set this, I don't know, 0.025 F. Like so. And then we'll go entity item dot entity item dot motion x, so it actually makes it spill out onto the floor with a certain amount of speed and velocity. So we'll go to double, because it's a double, and then obviously because we're going to use the floats that we created. Float this dot the random we created before dot next Gaussian, which is to say, if floats already done that, this actually like returns a double value. Okay, so we're going to go to next Gaussian, and then we need to times this by F3. Okay, and then for the next one, we want you to do 2 of that. Obviously, we're going to Y and Z. For the Y one, I'm actually going to add a little bit onto this, so I don't know, add 0.1 F. The reason I'm adding that onto it is so it actually goes up a little bit more, so it like kind of like more explodes, so like the items go up and then spill outwards. Okay, and then obviously we need to spawn this entity in the world, which will be world dot spawn entity in world, and that will be the entity item we want to spawn in the world. So anything that's inside of that chest, and that is that. Okay. But there's also one more thing we need to do, and that is get in the actual direction of the block. So we need to go outside of this method, which is about here, according to the brackets. So we finish that method there, and we need to go world dot what was it now? It's like function, something that involves X, Y, and Z in a block. Something. X, Y, Z, where's block? Oh, it'll be this one. So X, well, he says he hopes, Y and Z, and we need block. Okay, so we've got that. And obviously we need to actually return something inside of this method because we can't just leave it blank. So we'll just go and say, once you've run through all this, we need to super everything and go dot break block as you normally would. So world X, Y, Z block, and then the meta. that was one hell of a method, okay, which involved a lot of math, which I hate. And then we'll do adding some particles into the on the furnace once it's burning, okay. So at side only, side dot client, we want to go public void random tick display, and then we're going to go add the title and stuff, so world integer x integer y integer z, and then we will, is it overriding? No? Why are you not overriding? Oh, we need random. Random. Now you're overriding? No, you're not. Why are you not overriding? Try random tick display. Was it random display tick? That was random display tick. Okay, so we need to go if this dot burning dot is burning 2, because that's the final, that's why it's the only one that's visible here. We need to create something that gets the direction. So we'll go integer direction, which will be equal to world dot get block metadata, and we need x, y, and z, and then we need to create a float double x because x is already taken, and we'll set this equal to x. We'll set this equal to a float, which will be our x coordinate. So this is when it's burning, so it gives it a little bit of an animation rather than just spawning. 0.5 is its speed. Y. We also need to set equal to as a float, and we will plus. Be right back. Sorry about that. I had to sort them out with the kids then because they're meant to be in bed, but they weren't. Okay, so we need to do y plus. We'll add anything onto this. Yeah, we will add a random float. Random dot next float, and then we'll times this by 6 as its speed, and then we'll divide this by 16.0f. Okay, so once we've done that, what we want to do is we want to have ZZ as well, and we will just make it, I don't know, it's a float z plus, I don't know, 0.5f. So it's virtually identical to our first one. And then we're going to want an xx2, zz2 and an xx2, which will just be like xx2, which will just be a random dot next float. Dot next float, and we'll times this by 6, and then minus like, well, just times this by 0.3f, and whatever the result is, zz2, so it gives it a bit of, so it slows it down a little bit, and then we will do this double y. Parameter 6 is going to be another double, which will be zz plus xx2, and we need to go 0.0f because it's going to have to require these, and we will do that for the rest of them. Okay, and what we're going to do, we're actually going to do the same for flame as well, because we also want a flame effect, so it adds a sort of smoky but shows it's burning at the same time and not just like it's just been put out by a wet flame. So we'll go else if direction is 5, which is another direction we want. And we want to do that. And we want to paste this another 2 times. But I'll just set one of them to 3 and one of them to 2. Okay, and believe it or not, guys, that is it for this class. Okay, it's been a very long episode, I know. I might even end up splitting this into multiple parts because of how long it is. Thanks for watching, guys. It's been the Gurus Project 01, showing you how to create your Top Furnace class. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.